Namaste and a very warm good evening to the amazing gathering. I am Blaise Rosario, your hostess for today's jubilant evening at Hotel La Marbella. It gives me immense pleasure on behalf of the organizers to welcome each one of you, name by name with due respect, to this very launch event of the Shiksha X, micro-learning academic project and the keynote masterclass of OSCE and Programmatic assessment for competency-based nursing education. We believe all of you have completed your registration formalities. If yes, please remain seated. If not, we kindly request you to complete your registration. We are grateful here for your presence with us today. The program will begin shortly. Most valued guests, respected principal, ma'ams and sirs, faculty members and invitees, over the next couple of hours from now, you will have opportunities to learn, relearn, and of course to network. We are glad that we are joined by participants from various parts of the state, both in person and on YouTube. On behalf of Team Shiksha X, I wish each one of you a pleasant and fruitful evening. It is now time for us to formally commence the event. We would like to get started with the Nadagite, the state anthem of Karnataka. May I request the entire gathering to kindly rise as a mark of respect.
जय भारत जननी अनुजाति जय हे कर्नाटक माते जय सुंदर नदी वनगण नारी जय वीर सऋषिगण पीरे भूदेविय मकुटन नवमणिये गंधद चंदन अन्निन गणिये जननीय अनुजाति जय हे कर्नाटक माते जननीय जोगुण वेदದ ಘೋಷ ಜನನಿಗೆ ಜೀವವು ನಿನ್ನಾವೇಶ ಹಸುರಿನ ಗಿರಿಗಳ ಸಾಲೆ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೊರಳಿನ ಮಾಲೆ ಕಪಿಲ ಪತಂಜಲ ಭೂತ ಮಗಿಲನುತ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತಿ जय हे कर्नाटक माते शंकर रमनुज विद्यारण्य बसवेश्वर मध्वर दिव्यारण्य ब्रह्म षडक्षरि पन्ना पंकल कुलिपति जन्ना कुमार दासर मंगल धाम कवि कोकिलಗಳ पुण्य राम नानक रामानंद कबीरर भारत जननीय अनुजाति जय हे कर्नाटक माते कैलप वैसळ
Thank you, dear ma'ams and sirs. You may please take your seats now. To formally welcome all of you for giving us the gift of your presence this evening, we have a special gentleman, and it is my privilege to request Mr. Rudramurthy M., Director, Shiksha X, to walk up to the lectern for the welcome address. And as we get ready for the welcome address, I kindly request the dignitaries to occupy the chairs on the dais. To formally welcome all of you for giving us the gift of your presence this evening, we have a special gentleman yet again, and it is my privilege to request Mr. Iqbal, Director, Shiksha X, to walk up to the lectern for the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's been so pleasant to see you all here. And even though there was a very short notice, which we happened to circulate, you have made it in time, and I'm very thankful to all the delegates, the visitors who have come over here. Formally, I would just like to, welcome शुक्रान से तो बुला देते हैं. So first of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Sachidananda sir, who is the former Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, who is also appointed as the chairman for our advisory council in Shiksha X. So I just welcome, a hearty welcome. Then we have Dr. B.T. Rudresh, who is the president of the Karnataka Homeopathy Board, and also a mentor, a guide in such programs. He is also a member of the advisory council in the Shiksha X Academy. Then we have Dr. K. Reddamma, who is the coordinator for the National PhD Consortium of INC, Indian Nursing Council. I welcome Dr. Madam. So we have Dr. Karvekar with us, and we also welcome him. We have Dr. Munir sir, who is the Director of Academics and the mentor and the sole active participant for our entire activity in this. So I welcome Mr. Munir, Dr. Munir sir also in this house. We have Mr. Rudramurthy, who is also one of the directors of Shiksha X. I also welcome Dr. Salahuddin sir, who is the principal of Al-Amin Pharmacy College. Then we have, yes sir, we have Dr. Raman Dang, who is also the principal of Pharmacy College, Krupanidhi College of Pharmacy. Dr. Madiwalappa, Dr. Pulari, and all the delegates who are present here. I welcome you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed a warm welcome right from the heart, and it did set the tone for the evening. We welcome you too. Thank you. At the very outset, it has now become a tradition to begin any significant event, especially an academic initiative like today's, with the auspicious symbolic watering the plant. To mark this symbolic tradition live, I with due respect request the dignitaries to make their way to the plant.
River music.
Thank you, respected sirs and ma'ams. What we witnessed a few seconds back symbolizes nurturing knowledge, growth of learning, and the spirit of academic excellence. All fingers crossed, for a few seconds from now, you will be witnessing the most significant moment of today's event. Yes, we are very, very pleased, very privileged, and very, very, very proud to announce the launch of the Shiksha X Micro-Learning Academic Project and the Shiksha X website. Dear gathering, with your thunderous applause, may I request our chief guest, Dr. S. Sachidananda, along with our guests of honors, Dr. K. Reddamma and Dr. B.T. Rudresh, to kindly unveil the platform. I repeat again with a thunderous applause. I request the dignitaries to kindly remain seated. Congratulations to Team Shiksha X on achieving this significant milestone. We all know how hard it is to get here with this achievement and feat. Requesting the audience for another round of thunderous applause for the toil that Team Shiksha deserves. Thank you for being such awesome audience. That was very kind. As of now, we all know that today's event is by Shiksha X. Now, to spill the beans and to introduce the brand Shiksha X, I, with regards and respect, invite Mr. Rudramurthy M., Director of Shiksha X, to the lectern. The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosario. I would like to introduce our company, Microline Electronics Private Limited, and its legacy in LMS software development. Our Shiksha X Academy, and as well as the overview, the faculty development programs, then collaboration with RUGHS and LMS impacts on the digital learning programs and need of digital learning and policy alignments. The legacy starts with Microline Electronics in almost 3 years back with a strong track record in delivering a technology-enabled academic solutions, particularly in the domain of learning management system and digital capacity building programs for higher education. Microline Electronics Private Limited successfully executed LMS projects in Karnataka for UG, PG students and faculties of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. As of now, around 30,000 plus UG students, faculties and 8,000 plus PG scholars were trained. Based on this legacy, Microline Electronics, that is we call it as MEPL, has launched Shiksha X Academy on EduTech initiative focused on microlearning drivers, driven faculty development programs and competency-based education in health professionals. Our collaborations with RUGHS, we have played a major key role in supporting the Academic and Administrative Training Institute of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences by providing learning management based training infrastructure and solutions. The large scale impact is through this initiative, around 30,000 plus UG faculties and 8,000 plus PG scholars covering educational and research methodologies of these programs. Additionally, with Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, that is APTI, MEPL, Microline Electronics facilitated a foundation course in educational methodology, that is we call it as FCEM pharmaceutical, reaching around 2,500 educators across India. Further, the support to homeopathy education, MEPL has also contributed to faculty sensitization and capacity building programs through masterclass on competency-based dynamic curriculum for homeopathy educators nationwide. The today's need for the digital learning is rapid. It's rapidly expanded in higher education, especially in the health professional segments. It demands scalable, flexible, and standardized faculty development mechanisms where traditional models alone cannot fulfill or fully address the present requirements. There is a generational shift in learning. The current academic education system, that is ecosystem, is witnessing a shift towards digital learning. Native learners and educators requiring technology integrated teaching and assessment approaches. The rise in microlearning. The microlearning philosophy enables short, focused, and outcome-driven learning units, making it highly suitable for busy professionals such as faculty and clinicians. The demand in on-learning ecosystem, the modern LMS platforms enables anytime and anywhere access supporting self-paced, just-in-time learning programs, which aligns with the needs of geographically distributed academic communities. In addition to the policy alignment, the National Education Policy, that is NEP, emphasizing the streaming of digital education, integration of education online, and blended with learning methodologies. Also, the strengthening of teachers' training through technology-enabled platforms. The digital learning is not a replacement, but it is a complement to the conventional teaching, enhancing the existing approach, the consistency, and learner engagement while supporting competency-based frameworks. The conclusion is, keeping all these views in mind, Microline Electronics Private Limited has developed various LMS programs for faculty, the UG students, PG students, as well as nursing faculties, all disciplinaries in the healthcare disciplines. We look forward your valuable suggestions, feedback, and support to achieve the goals which we have set for this organization and to transform this educational system in the field of digital transformation. Once again, I welcome all the dignitaries and delegates for this wonderful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for providing a thorough overview of Team Shiksha X. Next in line is honoring those significant people who are dear to Team Shiksha. Your presence here is of great value to us. Therefore, to present a token of appreciation on behalf of Team Shiksha X, it is my honor to invite Dr. Sachidananda, our chief guest, to offer the token of appreciation to our most beloved stalwarts in health education. Sir, you can take the center stage. I request the following guests to make your way to the stage when your names are called. I request the audience to show your support by claps. To start with, may I please request Dr. Kavekar, former Dean, Pharmacy, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Science, a stalwart in pharmacy education, to receive the honor. Thank you, sir. Next on stage, I kindly request Dr. Raman Dang, Principal, Kripanidhi College of Pharmacy, to receive the honors. I kindly request the audience to continue clapping. I kindly request Dr. B.T. Rudresh to take away the next honors. To take the honor, I kindly request Dr. Salahuddin, Principal, Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, to walk up to the stage. Thank you, sirs. The next honor, to give the next honors, may I kindly request Dr. K. Redamma to take over the stage. And here we have some significant members from nursing. To start with, I call Dr. Madivalappa, Secretary to KSNEB, Principal of Government College of Nursing, to receive the honor. I request ma'am to continue with the next honor. Next online, may I request Dr. Shrikant Pulari, Assistant Director, DME, to receive the honors. With that, we have come to the end of felicitation. I kindly request the dignitaries to take their seats on the dais. We now come to the academic insight of today's program. The next speaker is one who wears humility as his crown. I assure you, you talk to him for a few minutes and your perspective of teaching will change for good. He is someone who never ceases to keep himself updated. With an illustrious academic background, I have known him to be a synonym of Rajiv Gandhi University's Rati. Yes, we guessed him right. He is our keynote speaker, Dr. Munir Ahmed R., currently the Director of Academics at Shiksha X. Sir is a distinguished academician and educator with extensive experience in competency-based education, assessment design, and faculty development in health professionals education. He has mentored many, and I can proudly say I am one of them. With that note, it is my privilege to request him to deliver his keynote masterclass on OSCE and Programmatic assessment for competency-based nursing education. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Blaise. Thank you all for being here. It's a kind of honor that you have come here to witness this launch. In fact, this academic launch is something that we all cherish for various reasons. One being, the world is now moving towards digitalization. So having quality digitalized content is something which is very, very crucial, because there is content, lot of content which is available, but we cannot assure of the quality and the credibility of that content. So with that background of creating something which is credible, we have started this project, in which You are all partners. More of that we'll see a little later. As you can see here, there's a wall. What you feel about it, I leave it to your imagination. We have one more wall coming up. Now contrast these. Which of these two walls would you feel confident to have for your own house? Obviously it is the second. The main reason being, the second wall looks properly structured, it looks safe, and we feel confident to stay in there. This is what is the analogy for a structured education system. We have education systems which may be unstructured, which could be, in fact, if you look at the first wall, just removing one brick may bring down the entire wall. Whereas in the second, you can have a kind of modularity where you are assured that if one brick comes out, that can be replaced without much damage to the wall. And this is what is the structure of education. In this background, we build on a competency base. We'll go more of that. And this is a keynote masterclass in OSCE and CBNE, competency-based nursing education. We have the definition of competency. In fact, if you look at one name, it may sound a little out of the thing. Abstain is a different abstain. Okay. So it is, competency is a habitual and judicious use. We have habitual, which is consistency. Whatever professional activity that we have must have consistency. It is not that we do something now, the next time it is something different, third time it is something different. There has to be consistency. To say that something is competent, first thing is there has to be consistency. The second is judicious, which means it should not be arbitrary. I'm not doing something out of my opinions. There is some judiciousness, there is some wisdom which is built on some evidences. Now, what is this habitual and judicious use? What are those attributes? 7 attributes: communication, knowledge, technical skills, clinical reasoning, emotions, values, and reflection. If you look at these 7 attributes, only 2 attributes belong to any particular stream. If it is nursing, knowledge and technical skills relate to nursing. If it is pharmacy, knowledge and technical skills are related to pharmacy. The rest of the 5 are across meta skills, whether it is communication, whether it is reasoning capacity, whether it is emotions, values, and reflection. These cut across as common for everybody. So, and these are the most important meta skills that set apart a person as being competent or not competent. Otherwise, a person may define something, may list something, may classify something, knowledge is there, may perform some activity as an isolated activity. But these don't count as competence unless you bring together, you align the communication which is required in that, the values which are required in that, the reasoning which is needed for it, and of course the reflection on how to improve it to the next level. So, and these in the context of the individuals and communities which are being served. If you take this in its entirety, competency is something which is complete, which is holistic of a person's knowledge skills, which are supported by various meta skills attributes. And if you look at this is what competency is. And the Indian Nursing Council has, when we come to the competency, we may look, this a person is competent. And most of the time in the traditional model, what we see is competency is linear. You start in the first year, the final year, and in the kind of longitudinal thing, person becomes competent. It doesn't happen. This is how learning happens. Starting with a complete lack of orientation from the first year student to clarifying, and finally the bulb lights up and a person becomes competent. So there are a lot of ups and downs, roundabouts which happen, and the teachers navigate that, this confusion, to bring about a clarity for the confusion among the teachers. This is a challenge in competency-based education. Now, if you ask what is the difference between the traditional and the competency-based model, it is the way the teachers navigate their training, their mentoring around the confusion to clear the students into a competent person. We'll see that how the competency develops a little later. So this is what is competency-based education, analogy for it. So how does competency develop? There's a Dreyfus model, you call it Benner's model. Actually it is Dreyfus model. So there are different levels. Person starts as a novice, then is an advanced beginner, then competent. Up to the undergraduate level, a person becomes competent. Beyond undergraduate level, what you have is proficiency and expertise. So this is what is the difference between UG and PG. These are not same. In UG, person becomes competent. Beyond PG, beyond into the PG, the student has to be proficient and expert in that. More of that maybe some other time we'll see. So the reason why we are having these phases is, you know, the student is starting as novice, you don't expect anything as a competence person in the first year. And the way you organize the delivery of the syllabus, the way you organize the training, and more importantly, the way you conduct the assessment. You don't assess the student for competency in first year. You assess them for the capacity as a novice or an advanced beginner. So these things, if the teacher is navigating, that will clear the confusion. Otherwise, everybody gets confused. So this is a model on which the competency-based education is built. And these are the competencies which the Indian Nursing Council has adopted. You have 8 competency domains: patient care, professionalism, leadership, system-based practice, health informatics and technology, communication, teamwork and collaboration, and of course, safety and quality improvement. Whatever content that we have, whatever outcomes we expect in BSc Nursing, MSc Nursing, or whichever nursing related course, these are the 8 domains in which the students have to be trained and assessed. So when you expect a person to be competent, the person is competent. In fact, if you look back at the definition of competence, you can see these very meta skills being explained in those 7 attributes. These are something which is overarching. And in fact, in the wisdom, the INC has adapted this. Similarly, many other professional bodies, the commissions, National Commission of Medicine, National whatever other commissions also have adapted similar competencies which are appropriate for that particular profession. No, the global shift that is happening is in the competency-based education. Here, we have a traditional model. In the traditional model, I would call it a transmission model. We have the teacher as a transmitter of knowledge, where the content is there, the teaching happens, and assessment happens in a linear manner. You have the content that is taught, and then assessment is done. This is transmission. Imagine a mobile transmitting tower. What does the tower do? It receives signals from one handset and it transmits to another handset. Suppose the tower is 5G and the handset is 4G. There is incompatibility. Suppose the handset which has to receive is switched off. Or suppose there is no currency in that handset. Does the mobile tower tell the handset, see, your compatibility is not there, you don't have any currency in that, or your mobile is switched off? It doesn't. It only transmits. Similarly, teachers, they only transmit from the source to the students. Are you learning? Are you capable of learning? Is there any confusion that you have? The mobile tower doesn't ask. The teacher as a mobile tower doesn't ask. So it is transmission model. As against that, what is emerging is something which is called as transformation model. In the transformation model, from the very beginning, the organization of the whole syllabus and program is done taking into consideration the national or community health needs, and from there you develop the graduate attributes or the POs as you have seen. From these POs you design the further outcomes. These are tested for the content, for the delivery, for the assessment, and after that these are provided to the students. So this becomes transformation from what? From a novice to the competent, from competent further on into somebody who is an expert for a PG. And this competency-based model, interestingly what it does is it brings about identity formation as a professional, and it commits for lifelong learning. Because when a person tastes that this is my competency and I have to improve, they established a kind of lifelong learning into them. It becomes a part of their meta skills. So with this, we have one more concept which is very, very interesting. This is called as constructive alignment. This is something like you have the expected outcomes. what are the learning activities matching for that, and how do we know whether the student has realized. This is in fact very interesting model where you bring the syllabus to the table of specifications and how to conduct the assessment. These two become merged. The teaching and the assessment become two sides of the same coin. Something like this. You have the expected outcomes, whether it is realized, and the learning activities. Learning activities, whether it is realized. These three circles, what you see, if these come together, these overlap, come together, that is what is the alignment. This is what is constructive alignment. Your outcomes expected, the teaching are the instruction activities which are required for it, and the matching assessment all fall together so that there is no discrepancy. What outcome you are expecting as a competency is provided by the training, is assessed by the assessment. So this is what the competency-based education does. In a nutshell, this is what is the, I would say, a kind of narrative explanation about competency-based medical nursing education without making it very technical. Now, the philosophy of assessment in competency-based education is called as programmatic assessment. To illustrate what is this programmatic assessment, let me take you through a small narration here. What you see there on the screen is some squares which are there and some image which is very hazy that you cannot identify what is this. In fact, whatever squares that you are seeing there in a digital image, these are called as pixel. We all know what is pixel. So these are called pixels in digital image. In assessment, these are called as data points. So the less the data points, the more hazy and vague is the authenticity of our assessment. If you conduct only final exam, only one exam is there, you don't get an authentic outcome of the students, what the student is capable of, what is their competency. Now let us increase the number of squares in there. As the number of squares increase, you can see there is more clarity, more sharpness of the image, but still we don't know what is this image. You may hazard a guess, but don't guess. Don't guess. And as we go further, perhaps you will get a little more confident to predict this could be the image. Don't predict. Don't predict. I'll come to that. So what happens in this continuous assessment, in the programmatic assessment, is the assessment is done across all the domains, cognitive, psychomotor, affective, and the assessment is done from both a far view and a near view in various contexts of teaching, conducting theory-based assessment, and conducting clinical assessment in a longitudinal manner. Whatever dots that you see are the data points. Longitudinally, when you make a kind of summation of all these things at the end, only then you can say authentically. Any guesses what was the image? Mona Lisa? Okay, that's why I said don't guess. This is male Mona Lisa. In fact, this is one of the paintings of Da Vinci. This is called Salvatore Mundi. And very valued painting, not known. So the reason why I am bringing this here is, we have a tendency to jump to conclusion about the students, about their capacity, and that bias sets in to say that, okay, this is what the student is. Till the end, don't have the bias. That is what we have to be focused on. So this is what is called as programmatic assessment. And in the programmatic assessment, this is 360-degree, continuous, longitudinal, and supportive as formative assessment to give feedback and improve the performance. Traditionally, we had this model of clinical assessment where the students have some, the patients which are not, same for everybody. The difficulty level is not same. So the OSCE has come in as one of the models for assessment. So this is a structured teaching and assessment. OSCE is not only assessment methodology, it's also a training methodology. So which has the various checklists, simulated patients, standardized tasks, various models are there for teaching, which are student-centered. And the assessments also, it reinforces for learning. So with this in the background, what you have in the OSCE is some of the features which are very specific and structured for it. We have more of these we'll see in the next few slides, what the OSCE stands for. OSCE stands for objectivity because the task is uniform for all. The time duration is common for all, same for all. The criteria of assessment are predetermined based on whatever must know, desirable to know the outcomes you have stated. And there are some tools which we use in the form of checklist, in the form of rating scale, in the form of rubrics. So it becomes objective. It is structured because the specific skills are specified and the steps are, essential steps are listed. So there is a structure. It is not something which is unstructured. And it is clinical because a range of clinical competencies are tested, starting from history taking to physical exam, lab investigations, nursing management and communication, and many more. And the tools which we use, as I said earlier, could be checklist, it could be rating scale, or it could be a rubric. These are the three common tools which can have further modifications in the form of mini CX, DOP, or whatever other things, but these are the major features. So this is one example of checklist which has for micro teaching. Then you have a rating scale of communication and demonstration of ORS to a mother, and we have a rubric for community health nursing. So these are the basic structures. Now going further, this is the circuit of OSCE which we will be seeing further later. So you have different stations. Each of the station has a particular skill, particular activity, and as you can see here, there are three major things. One is what is the activity that is being done, what is the level of millers that is being tested in that particular station, and what is the particular skill that is being tested. There could be a combination of these into each of the station so that the station becomes more specific and it complies with the requirements of objective testing. In fact, this OSCE is not something which is untested. There are a lot of studies which have been done specifically in the context of nursing education. Some of the published articles have made a collage of these to show that the effectiveness of OSCE is something which is established. Here I would like to take a 1 minute diversion from here. In fact, OSCE is good. We don't doubt it. But OSCE is something which is designed, developed in a Western culture. It may not completely gel with the Indian context or Indian culture. So for that we had started, if some of you remember, a project called, Sanjay remembers it, PACC, Programmatic Assessment of Clinical Competency, which there were some 15-20 people who had come in the Rajiv Gandhi Health University. But let me not talk much about it. What I would say is, in fact, if we select the right people for it, if you have the right people, there's a book called Good to Great, Jim Collins. What he says is, don't bother what is activity. Bother who are the people. You select the right people, then you have selected the right activities with them. You select the activity, but the people are not right, it will not go anywhere. So one thing that I am placing before the house is, given the opportunity, we can revive that PAC concept, which can be Indianized, customized for Indian conditions, Indian traditions, Indian culture of our teachers. That is anyway up for grabs later. Now here we have an exciting offer from the Shiksha Academy here. One is that if you register, it is open for all. Any nursing teacher anywhere in India, even outside India, offer is open, and this is the link. This link will be shared later. So in this link there are some courses. 2 courses are there. First is a master class in OSCE and DOP. The master class in OSCE and DOP explains whatever I have done now till now about the OSCE, the competency-based education. And this is a 5-day course extendable to 7 for teachers who have to be trainers and examiners for BSc nursing. In fact, INC has mandated that the final exams have to be conducted as per OSCE and DOP. And many of the teachers are not completely aware of the nuances of, they may know the OSCE, but how to design an OSCE station, how to develop an OSCE checklist, how to prepare some activities for OSCE. These are some things which are still the areas of gray areas which are there, and this course addresses to that need. Another course that we have, and in fact this has 40 credit points from Karnataka State Nursing Council, because it's a 5-day course, 8 credits for each day. So 40 credits are there in your basket now. Right. So you don't have to search around, go around seeing where we have. So at one go you have 40 points. This is one more motivation. The second is there's a course on nursing pedagogy. In fact, there's a subject of nursing education in MSc Nursing. This course is designed as per the syllabus. 95% of the syllabus of MSc Nursing, nursing education is covered in this. It's a 15 days course, again on LMS, and this doesn't have any credit points so far. If some of you come forward, maybe some of the nursing associations like Nursing Teachers Association or TNEI, if you collaborate, we can have a giant collaboration of this. In fact, with APTI sir is there, Karvekar sir is there, Raman sir is there, Salahuddin sir is there. They all cooperated earlier with APTI, Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, for a similar course for the pharmacy teachers. It went across India. We had about 2,500 teachers. We'll try to revive that also with their support. This can be for not only for the MSc nursing students, which will give some kind of a background understanding of nursing education so that they can face their exams confidently, but also for young teachers who can learn about the educational methodology. To give you a brief glimpse of this master class on DOP, once you register, you will get their username and password. Using that, you can log into that. Once you log in, there is a pre-test of 10 marks, 10 questions. It is compulsory. Even if somebody scores 0, doesn't matter. They will go to the next level of the 7 modules which are there. Module by module they can complete. Each of the module is organized in this manner. You have the introduction and the specific learning outcomes of that particular module. Then there is a pre-reading which you can learn. It is downloadable PDF. Then there is a video presentation of 5 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. And the script of that video will be available to you as a PDF download, which you can read again. Then there are slides which you can run again. Whatever slides were used in the video, you can run again. After that, there is some activity with an activity prompt related to that content which you already has presented. Then you have a reflection on how you can adapt it, how you can improvise on it, and how you can use it for your teaching, training, assessment. And there are some additional references which you can use for further reading. Then there is a quiz, module end quiz, which 40% you score, it will take you to the next module. Completing first module 1, then module 2. Similarly, every module is arranged in the same manner. And after that, maybe as part of that, you have some peer assessment, peer learning, group work and individual work. It is up to you, you can do that. Then there is a post test. You have to score some 50-60% in that, and once you score that, there is a feedback form which you submit, and after that you get the certificate. And this is how the certificates look. You can see there is a logo of Karnataka State Nursing Council, 40 credit points are there, and there is also the validation by the Registrar of Nursing Council, and the observer who was appointed by Nursing Council, her signature also is there. Madam is there in the house here. Thank you. And my signature also is there. Okay. And if required, we can have zone-wise or cluster-wise on-site training also on the developing of templates and other things for related to OSCE and DOP. That is an additional activity unrelated to this, but related to this can happen later. So if there are any questions, we can take. Otherwise, maybe during networking we can have. So thank you all for being present here. And there's one small self-advertisement. The book that you see on the top, this completely on competency-based education for health professionals, including for nursing faculty. And there are specific outcomes of nursing faculty also written into this, published by CBS. In fact, I got a very good glowing, you could say, review by Sanjay for this book. Thank you. So thank you all, and I thank Shiksha for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dear audience, I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say that was a truly an insightful and enriching keynote class. Yes. The next person on stage is someone very, very dear to us, even if you are not from nursing. She has inspired and uplifted many, and I'm just another admirer, deeply inspired by her, particularly by the integrity she so gracefully embodies. She is a very precious gift, a leader with a difference, and a role model for the nursing fraternity and beyond. Madam has served in many key roles and currently serves as the nodal officer for the National Consortium for PhD in Nursing under the Indian Nursing Council. She is a distinguished nurse academician with much more than 5 decades of professional experience. Madam is also the member of the Advisory Council of Shiksha X, along with many other pivotal positions she holds. May I, with due respect, request Dr. K. Reddamma, our esteemed guest of honor, to kindly address the gathering.
Distinguished guests and dignitaries on the dais, I don't know where to start, but my memory goes back to 1962, Derbyshire, who classified nursing activities into 3 categories. Number 1, comfort measures. Number 2, technical. Number 3, communication. And communication means it is not only within, but to the patients and patient population, patient relative population. So based on this, way back in 90s, we conducted a study on activity analysis. So all the activities performed by the nurses in the clinical area, and how we did was each activity was timed with the stop clock, and usually what we think is what is done there, but it requires preparation before, and it requires replacement for any procedure. Then why did we do this activity? To calculate the nurse-patient ratio by considering time available by the nurses and time that is required. So when we did that, we could arrive at nurse-patient ratio very authentically. That is one thing I want you to. Then coming to the activities, simple to complex is well known to all of us. And activities in the first year to final year, how a student who joins first year, how they transform into confidential individuals to be able to do that. When it comes to structure, something came to my mind about Manipal Academy. Way back when we were examiners, there was a clear-cut guidelines for this question, for the evaluators, for this question, these are the points to be expected. Some students have a tendency to write volumes, but there may not be any content in that. So they have structured the evaluator's guide so well. And one day I found same point is repeated. 10 points are to be written, but same point is repeated. So you should be very vigilant while evaluating the answer booklets. When it comes to activity, again, my memory goes back to way back 1971. For an A&M course which I was teaching, there was a test, entrance test. That entrance test was, you make the students one-word answers and matching, etc. And they will pass through one tray for a procedure. And students have to quickly observe and record number of items in that tray. I asked why. This was existing before I joined. I asked why. No, they should be able to quickly assemble and then be ready to care or be ready for a procedure. So these are, some of the things we have to think. When it comes to first year, different procedures, second year, different procedures, third year. How are we going to fit into the system? And competency-based syllabus is not new to all of you, because Indian Nursing Council has very clearly defined competencies at different levels. But unfortunately, what opportunity to practice on the patients in this thing, we don't have that scenario now. And many of the students in PhD are going digital, including the patient teaching. And sometimes initially we were little, what are they doing with digital this thing? But it has become a common and routine. And when it comes to computer skills, way back we have introduced at BSc level.
We will be listening to an internationally renowned Suresh to kindly address the gathering.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಅವರೇ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಮ್ಮ ಅವರೇ, ರುದ್ರಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರೇ, ನನ್ನ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುನೀರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಇಕ್ಬಾಲ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಭಿಕರೇ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಾ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲಿ ಒಂದು 20 ವರ್ಷ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ದಿಲೀಪ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನು ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಈ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಥರನೇ ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಸೊ ಇಡೀ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ 3 ಜನ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಗವರ್ನರು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ. So I have seen what education is in India as far as nursing, homeopathy and Ayush. Incidentally, ನನ್ನ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ನಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರು RGHSಗೆ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅಲೋಪತಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮೆನೋವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 3 ವರ್ಷ ಬಿಡಲಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಸೆನೆಟಿಗೆ ನಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಸೊ ಸೆನೆಟಲ್ಲೂ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಪಾಪ ರವೀಂದ್ರನಾಥ್ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಹೂ ಗೇವ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್. ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಯಾವುದೇ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು, ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಿಗೆ LIC ಕಮಿಟಿ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ನು LIC ಕಮಿಟಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಬರೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 35. ಕಾರಣ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಜೊತೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಾನು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್. ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದೆ, ಹೆಸರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು, ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಫೋನ್ ಬಂತು, ಗುರುವೇ ಏನಮ್ಮ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆಯಾ, ಆ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲ್ ನಂಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಬೇಕಾದವಳಮ್ಮ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡು ಗುರು ಅಂತ. ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮುಟ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾನು ತಲಮಲಕವಾಗಿ ನೋಡಬಲ್ಲೆ. ನಂಬರ್ 1, ಟೀಚರ್ಸು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು ನರ್ಸಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಒಂಚೂರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾನು ಪಾಸಾದಾಗ 81 ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳು ಲೆಸ್ ಸೆಟ್ ದಿ ಬೆಟರ್, ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿನಿಕಲ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಲು. ಸೊ ಬಾಂಬೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲೋಪತಿಕ್ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋರು. ಐ ವರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಹೌಸ್ಮನ್, ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಹೌಸ್ಮನ್, RMO, ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ RMOವರೆಗೂ ಬಂದೆ 2 ವರ್ಷ. ಅಮಿತಾಬ್ ಬಚ್ಚನ್ನಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಯಿತು. ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಜಾ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಶ್ರೀಶ್ ಬನ್ಸಾಲಿ ಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಮಿತಾಬ್ಗೆ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದೊಂದು ಕೇಸು, ಅಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹಿಂದಿನ ದಿವಸ. ಅವನು 7 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬಂದುಬಿಡೋನು, ಮಾರನೇ ದಿವಸ 7 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನರ್ಸು, ಅವಳಿಗೊಂದು ಚೂಚೂರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು, ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಕಡೆ ಅವಳು. ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಆ ಕೇಸು? ನೋಡಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದಿಲ್ಲ, ಫೀವರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದೆ. ಓಕೆ. 16 ವರ್ಷದ ಹುಡುಗಿ, 82, ಅವಳು ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಮರ್ಸಿಡೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋವಳು. ಯೂರಿನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ ನೋಡಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂದ್ಲು ಸಿಸ್ಟರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ನೋಡಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉಂಡೆದೆ. ಅಬ್ಡಮನ್ ಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನೆ, 24 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಯೂರಿನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ವಾ? ಒಂದು ಬಂದರೆ ಚಿಗಿದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ನಿನ್ನ. ಅವನು ಈ KEM ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್, ಅವನು ಶ್ರೀಶ್ ಬನ್ಸಾಲಿ. ಹೊಡೆದೆ ಅವಳ ಹತ್ರ, ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ, ಯೂರಿನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಲು. ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪ್ಪ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಅವಳು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಜಲ್ದಿ ತೆಗೆದ್ಬಿಡು ಬರೋದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ತೆಗೆಯೋದು ನನಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು? ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವ ಹುಡುಗಿ 16 ವರ್ಷದವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಯೂರಿನ್ ತೆಗೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರ್ತಾಳೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಾಗೆ 82 This is sisters who taught me the basics of life, basics of clinical adjustments, clinical bedside ನನಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸು. ಅವಳು ಬಂದು ಜಲ್ದಿ, ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನನಗೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿಮೇಡ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಟೋಕ್ಲೇವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು, ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದ್ಲು. ನನಗೆ ವಾಶ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಲು. ನಾನು ಊಟಕ್ಕೇನ ವಾಶ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳೋದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತೀರ ಯಾ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರುಗಳು, ವಾಶ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರು. ಐ ಓ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಮ್, ಐ ಸಿನ್ಸಿಯರ್ಲಿ, all my clinical knowledge. I am practicing from 45 years. I have seen 6 chief ministers, 7 governors, including prime ministers. ಯಾರು ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರ್ಸಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾರೋ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಓನರ್ನ ಅಕ್ಕನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು 3 ಜನ ಕೂರ್ಸಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬೆಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ವಿಮ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋದು, ಬಲಗೈಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿರಿ, ಎಡಗಾಲನ್ನು ಒದೆಯಿರಿ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಉಸಿರಾಡೋದೇ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಪೂಲಿಗೆ ಇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಳುಗೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ನನ್ನಂತರಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಆ ಹುಡುಗಿಗೆ ಹಾಕೋ, ಅವಳು ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದ್ಲು, ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಜಲ್ದಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡೆ ಹಾಕೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಹುಡುಗಿಗೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಥೆಟ್ರು. ಮತ್ತು ಏನು ಅಂದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ವಾ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಫಿನ್, ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಅದ್ಗೋ ಅಂದ್ಲು. ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಸರಿ ಹೋದನೆ 18 ಸೈಜ್, ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸೈಜ್ ತೊಗೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟಿನಿ. 16 ವರ್ಷದ ಹುಡುಗಿಗೆ 18 ಸೈಜ್ ತೊಗೊತೀಯಾ? ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಒಂದು ದಿಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ಹೊಲಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ರು, ಸರ್ಜಿಕಲ್ ನಾಟು, ಆ ನಾಟು, ಈ ನಾಟು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿತಿನ್ 1 year ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಚೌಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರು, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟಾಪ್ 3rd ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ಜನ್ನು. ಇನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಗಟರ್ ತನಕ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸು, ಮೊದಲನೇದು. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಇಲ್ಲೊಬ್ಬರು ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮೂರಿನ ಸೊಸೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೂರಿನ ಮಗಳು. ಅವ್ರ ತಾಯಿ ನಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳೋರು, ಸರೋಜಮ್ಮ, ನೀನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಾಗೋ, ನೀನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಲ್ಲಿದೆ, MBBS ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ದುಡ್ಡು. ನಂತರ ನಾನು ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ವಿಧಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಬಂದೆ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿಗೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಗುರು ಚಪ್ಪಲಿ ಹೊಲಿದ್ರು ಬಾಟಾ ಥರ ಹೊಲಿ, ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ತಗೋ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಏನು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುನೀರ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ನಾನು 30 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮಿಬ್ಬರದು ಜುಗಲ್ ಬಂದು RGHS ಸರ್ ಇದ್ರು 3 ವರ್ಷ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೊಫಿಸ್ಟಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೈಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಬಲ್ VCs ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎವರ್ ಸೀನ್. ಅವ್ರನ್ನೇನು ಹೊಗಳಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಂದ ಈಗಲೂ ನಾನೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ನಾವು ಅವ್ರು ಎಂದಾರು ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ, ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋರೇ ವಿನಃ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅವೇ ಯಾವುದು ಹಿಡನ್ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಾಸ್, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರ ನಡುವೆ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ರಾತಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ಗೂ. ದಿಲೀಪ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಮೈ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್. ಅವರಪ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೆ, ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗಿಗೂ ನಮಗೂ ಬೇಡ ಅಂದರೂ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದನೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಲಕ್ಕಿಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅದು ಸರ್ಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈಗಿನಂತೂ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮೈ ಗಾಡ್, ಅವನು ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನನ್ನ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಗಳೂರಿಂದ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬ್ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಮೆಲೆನ ನಿಂತು ಹೋಗಾಗಿದೆ. ಹೆಂಗಾರು ಆಗಲಿ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಐ ಸಿ ಯುಲಿ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಐ ಸಿ ಯುಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ 8,000 ಆಯಿತು. ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬರಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ನರ್ಸೇ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಲು. ಅವನ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಅವನೊಬ್ಬ ಪಿ ಜಿ ಇದ್ದ, ಪಿ ಜಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಲು, ಅವನ್ನ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬ್ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್. ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ನೀವು ಇದೆಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುನೀರ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ವಾಸ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ವೇಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಆ ಕೋರ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫೀಸೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಓದಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಡನ್ ದಟ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಗುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹಿಡನ್ ಎಜೆಂಡಾ ಇನ್ನೇನು ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವುದೇ ಧರ್ಮ, ಜಾತಿ, ಮತ, ಪಂಥ ಯಾವುದೂ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಚ್ ದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಾ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಂಥರು ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾಡಿದ್ದು PMO ಇಂದ ಏನೋ ನನಗೊಂದು ಕರೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇತ್ತು, ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆ ಫ್ಲಾಟ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡ್ತಿ ಬಂದರು. ಈ ಹೆಂಡ್ತಿ ಗಂಡಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ಏನ್ರಿ ಆ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆ ಫ್ಲಾಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡ್ತಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಒಗ್ದಾಕ್ತಾಳೆ, ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಳೆ, ದಿವಸ ಕೊಳೆ ಕೊಳೆ ಕೊಳೆ. 2ನೇ ದಿವಸನೂ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು, 3ನೇ ದಿವಸನೂ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು. 4ನೇ ದಿವಸ ಗಂಡಂಗೆ ಕರಿತಾಳೆ, ಬನ್ನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಏನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಒಗ್ದಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಗ್ಲಾಸು ಹಾಳಾಗಿದ್ದು ನಾನು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ಸು ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮೆಡಿಸನ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ, ಅದೇ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಗಸ ಎತ್ತೋಗ್ದ ಅಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಒಗ್ದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅವನು ಯಾರೋ ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಹುಡುಗ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಹುಡುಗಿಗೆ ಜಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೈ ಆಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಅವನು ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮೇಲೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ನು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಟುಗೆದರು, ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮದುವೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಏನೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂಥದ್ದು ಆಲ್ಫಾನ ಅದೆಂಥ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ನು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನೀವು 12 ನಿಮಿಷದ್ದು ಹೊರಟಾಯ್ತಂತೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾಳೆ, ಅವನದೆಲ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾರ ಜೊತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದೇ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ಫಾದವ್ರದ್ದು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ, ರಿಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ, ಅದು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ, ರಿಟೈನಿಂಗ, ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನು 12 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಈಗ 3 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನೀವೇನೇ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೂ ಎಲ್ಲ 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಇವ್ರೇನಾದ್ರು ವೀಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ವೀಡಿಯೋನೂ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಥೆಟ್ರ್ ಹಾಕೋದು, ಒಂದು ವೀಡಿಯೋ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತೆಗೆಯೋದು 3 ನಿಮಿಷ. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾವು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್. ನಂಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ನನ್ನ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ 40 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಪೇಷಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಡಿಸನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ನಾನೇ ಹತ್ತಕ್ಕಿರೋದು, ನಾನು ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಬೇಡ ಗುರು ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ, ಹೆಂಗೋ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೌ ಈಸ್, ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯ ಅವತ್ತೇ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪೆರಿಶ್ ಅಂತ. ಇವಾಗೇನು, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೆರಿಶ್, ಡಿಜಿಟಲೈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೆರಿಶ್. ಹಾಗಂತ ಬಿಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಾ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಕ್ಬಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯಾಕೆ RGHSನವರೇ ಒಪ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ, ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆನೂ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಚೂರಿನೇ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಅಂತ ಹಿಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಎದ್ದು ಹಾಕೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಚೂರಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ 1 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಮುಂಚೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಯಾರು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಟೀಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ಮಯ. ಯಾರು ಬಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ನನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಮೊದಲು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಯಾರು 3000 ಕೇಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಆಯಿತಾ, ಟೈಮ್ ಆಯಿತಾ? ಓಕೆ ಹೌದು, ಇದೊಂದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿದ್ದು 3000 ಕೇಸಸ್ಸು, ಅದು ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡು ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅದು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸಟನ್ಲಿ. ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದ್ಲು, ಡಾಕ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ PCOS ಡಾಕ್ ಅಂದ್ಲು. ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಸೇ ದಟ್? ಐ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ ಅಂದ್ಲು. ಇನ್ನೆರಡು ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಯಿತು. ಇದು ಹಿಂಗಲ್ಲ ಡಾಕ್ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿದೆ, ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಸೇ ಐ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ ಅಂದ್ಲು. 5 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ 8 ಸರಿ ಐ ಗೂಗಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದು. ಮಗು ಆ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇರೋ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಗಂಡನ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ರಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ ಆಗಿರವಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಡಿಜಿಟಲೈಸೇಷನ್ನು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮರ್ತೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ, ಅವನೇನೋ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಾಯಿಲಾಕಿ ಕೆಳಗಡ್ಕೊಂತಾನೆ ಅಂತವ. ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಾಸ್ಟಾಗಿ 9 ತಿಂಗಳು ಕಾಯೋಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಈಗಲೇ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಆತುರ ನೋ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದ ನೇಚರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್. ಎಲ್ಲದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇತ್ತು, ಕೇವಲ ಇದಿಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗರನ್ನ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಹುಡುಗರುಗಳು ನನ್ನಂಥ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಅದು ಈಗಿನ ಹುಡುಗರು ಏನಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೋ ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಭಾಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಹುಡುಗರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಾಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೊರಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರುಗಳು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬಾಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಪೇಷಂಟೇ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ನಮಗಿಂತ ಮೋರ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಈಸ್ ಮಚ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಈ ಕಾನಾಟ್ ಬುಲ್ಲಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್. ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯವ್ರ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ವಂದನೆಗಳು ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೆದ್ರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೇನು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Thank you, sir, for that thought-stirring speech in Kannada, alongside English and with some tinge of humor. That wait is now over. We are delighted to have our former Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Science, Bengaluru, Karnataka, as the next speaker. Sir needs no introduction. Yes, we all know him even beyond what I probably have written or I'm going to say next. Sir has played a pivotal role in steering the university through the most difficult times of COVID and also the historic period of the university's Silver Jubilee celebrations. He is a distinguished dermatologist with many noteworthy publications and an able educationist alongside administrator. Sir is now also the chairman of Advisory Council of Shiksha X. It is my honor and privilege now to invite our chief guest, Dr. S. Sachidananda, to kindly address the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. It's nice to see all of you on a midweek afternoon in such large numbers. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. B.T. Rudresh, who has given you an overview of what the education system has grown to over the period of years. Professor Edema, Dr. Munir, Mr. Iqbal and Mr. Rudramurthy, and all other members of the Shiksha X Academy. I recognize the presence of Dr. Karvekar, Dr. Salahuddin, Dr. Ramandang, Dr. Jasmine, Netra, Principal MSRMC, MSR Nursing College, and many others. I know most of them, but it's already 6 years since I retired, so I must have forgotten a few names, but I know all of you. That's how it is. While introducing, I was told that I was during the COVID period in Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. Every opportunity is a God-sent opportunity. All of us, we didn't expect COVID, but it happened. But COVID brought a lot of changes to us. Changes in our life, changes in the way we look at things, changes in the way we behave. Everything changed all of a sudden overnight. So every opportunity we should make best use of it and try to, every challenge should be converted into an opportunity, right? And that is what is called as change. All of you will agree with me that change is the essence of life. We cannot be constant or stuck to one place. We have to always keep moving on. ನಿಂತ ನೀರಾಗಿರಬಾರ್ದು, ಹರಿಯುವಂಥ ನದಿ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ. It should be always keep moving. Just to illustrate my point, she mentioned that I was a dermatologist. All of you know I'm a dermatologist, so I'll take the example of a dermatology case only. Psoriasis, nimgala gottide. Psoriasis is a very common dermatological disease where scaling of epidermis happens. You scratch, you get a lot of scales, and that continues. It can happen in any part of the body. Scalp alagutte, maiyal agutte, elbekar agbodu. 50 years ago, I'm already 38 years in dermatology. So before that, 12 to 15 years before me, my professor used to treat psoriasis patients. Avagin concept ittu andre psoriasis means it's a disease which, genetic disease, it comes in the family and then it waxes and wanes. It doesn't go permanently at all. It keeps coming again and again. This is the knowledge we had at that point of time. Adakke ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, moisturizer ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. Moisturizers and some antihistamines. So the itching is there, you take this. Psoriasis had a natural waxing and waning, seasonal variations ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅವ್ರು ಹಚ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರೈಸರು, ಒಂದಿನ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅದು. It is not due to some moisturizer, but the waxing and waning of the disease itself. Then a few days later, topical steroids was introduced. That is my immediate seniors. They were using topical steroids, and that was maybe a little salicylic acid was used. The thought was it is a proliferative disease. Cells keep multiplying. There is a large turnover of epidermal cells, so we need to control that. So anti-proliferative drug is steroid. So let us use steroids. No doubt they responded. They were, to some extent, they were justified in giving this topical creams. Innu oral tablets bandirilla. 10 years down the line, during my time when I became a dermatologist, I started using immunosuppressive drugs. Because at that time the thought was psoriasis is an autoimmune disorder. Immunity plays a role in causing the psoriasis. So we used immunosuppressive drugs. It worked. We used methotrexate, we used cyclosporin, we used azathioprine and whatnot. All of those control psoriasis. My professor called me one day and said, why are you writing immunosuppressive drugs for? These are all anti-cancer drugs. You should use only for cancer. My professor, because he was a very knowledgeable person and he had read a lot. But practice-wise, this is what he said. Why do you want to get in trouble? Why do you want to use immunosuppressive drugs? What will happen if the patient develops sudden anemia, pancytopenia and things like that? They'll end up in infection. Why do you want to use that? But that was what we thought. To also light on our house, but also it can damage, short circuit can damage the house also. We have a sword and a knife at home, we cut the vegetables, but it also can cut your finger if you are not careless. So it depends on how you use. So the correct way of using immunosuppressive drugs was there. Psoriasis patients benefited. There were longer remissions, patients were happy. We could repeat the drug, we could control, we could withdraw the drug whenever it was not necessary. 10 years after that, I was also teaching this in the medical college. 10 years after that, gadgets came. Phototherapy, lasers. We use phototherapy, POA therapy for psoriasis. We use lasers also XMR lasers to alleviate the disease. After that, 10 years later, that is in the last few years, we are using what are called the biosimilars or biologicals. These are the drugs which not heard of at all earlier at all, and with a different mode of action, and they have given a longer remission for psoriasis. Now if you take one or a course of injection, psoriasis can be suppressed for 2 years. 2 years it doesn't come back. But they are very costly. Okay? Anything new is costly always. What I'm trying to say is, over the period of years, nothing remains constant. What was a dogma yesterday can become very foolish thing today. And what was silly yesterday becomes a dogma today. We have to change. We have to be adaptive. And that brings me to the topic that even education, nursing education for that matter, or any education for that matter, has changed a lot. Gone are the days when we used to teach students in a traditional way. ಗುರುಕುಲ ಇತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಕೌರವರು ಪಾಂಡವರು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಗುರುಕುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ದ್ರೋಣಾಚಾರ್ಯ ಒಬ್ಬರಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು. ಬಿಲ್ ವಿದ್ಯೆನೂ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು, ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ರೈಡಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು, ಸ್ವಿಮ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು, ಮಲ್ಲಯುದ್ಧ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು, ಸ್ವೋರ್ಡ್ ಫೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು. Then came age of specialization and changes. Many specialists came. ಬಿಲ್ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರೇ ಬಂದರು, ಆ ಥರ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್, ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್. ಇವನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್. ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್, ಯಾರು ಗುರುಗಳು ಅಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಪಾಠ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರಿದ್ರೋ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ಶೈಲಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋರು. ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಯ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಚನ್ನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಅ DMA ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸು. ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದೇ ವೃತ್ತಿ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅವ್ರು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಟೀಚಿಂಗೇ ಅವ್ರ ವೃತ್ತಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಸಾಗಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇ ವರ್ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೌಲ್ಗುಡ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಇದು OB ಗೈನೆಕಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ಹಂಡ್ರೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವರ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಆಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಕುಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಎನಿ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೀಚ್ ದೆಮ್. ಬಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಬೇರೆ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಯಿತು. ಈಗ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ two things happened in the last decade, because you mentioned about COVID in the introduction, so I have to take that. COVID is one thing that I experienced the COVID in a very... I would like to remind all of you that I introduced digital valuation in Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, right? Digital valuation in Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, right? I still thank the group of nursing principals at company. Why, sir, why are you trying it on us? Why do you want? I said, if you accept and if you do it correctly, and then everybody else will accept it. You take it as a challenge and go. Then they did it. Because we are in a comfort zone. We don't want to come out of the comfort zone and take new things up. We don't want to adapt ourselves or change ourselves. We are very comfortable in this. But digital valuation was introduced, and then now I think all of you are so used to it, you cannot do without it. If you give the physical paper, probably you will not be too comfortable at all. You are so comfortable with digital valuation. That's one simple thing, example I gave. That's how it is. Education also now, and Dr. Rudresh mentioned about Gen Alpha, Gen Z and things like that. They are also changing. Students are not the same. We were different. ನಾವು ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು ಹೊಡೆಸ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ನಮಗೇನು ಅನಿಸ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೈದ್ರು ಬೈಸ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. I thought it is all normal. This is the way they teach. But can you scold a student now? Can you hit a student now? You can never think of those things. Things have changed, so we also have to adapt to that. ಹಾಗೆ ಜೆನ್ಜಿ ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅವ್ರ ಲೈಫ್ ಇದು ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ನೇ ಹಾಗೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಇಫ್ ದ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 3 minutes, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಕಷ್ಟವಾದದನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರೆಂಜ್ ತೊಳೆ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ದಂಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಆರೆಂಜ್ ತಿನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದೊಂದು ತೊಳೆನೇ ತಿನ್ನಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು 3 minutes ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಎ 3 minutes ವಿಡಿಯೋ, ಇಟ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ 3 minutes procedure, 3 minutes class, one topic, focus on one particular thing only. This is how they learn. So we have to adapt to that. So micro learning, LMS and systems, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಮನ್ಗಂಡು, ನಾನಿದ್ದಾಗ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮನ್ಗಂಡು, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರಾತಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ, RGHS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಲಾಂಚು ಆಯಿತು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುನೀರ್. He took up the job and did a fantastic job and still continuing to do that. Munir avarge, he was in a big ocean, salt water in a big ocean. Now he has come out of it and has come to a pond, sweet water. So avarge transformation is very simple. Avarge idilla, neer change agide ashte, but he is now in a different field. I'm sure Shiksha X will definitely shine, will outshine and go better, go to places. ಇದು ಈ ದಿನದ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಇದು ನೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ, ನೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್, and that is how Shiksha can adapt very well. I'm sure it will do very well in future. Anything that you start with a good heart will always succeed. I have seen Dr. Munir and his team, they are all good-hearted people. They have, business angle is different. That is a secondary thing. It's a fallout of a good activity. ನಾವು ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ ದುಡ್ಡು ತಂತಾನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮನಿ ಮೈಂಡೆಡ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಓಪನ್, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್, ಫೋಕಸ್ಡ್, ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಲ್, scalable. I don't know how many words I can use to see that they succeed in their activities. They may ask me to be a chairman. So I have gladly accepted that. I will only be guiding them and of course monitoring whatever their activities are, so that they should always deliver the best. That is what is my intention. And we have able people like Dr. Reddamma, Dr. Rudresh also in the team. So definitely all of us can deliver, make best use of that. And with the legacy that they have trained more than 30,000 faculties and more than 10,000 postgraduate students. You name any field, they have already delivered in that. Be it homeopathy, be it nursing, be it pharmacy. They were also in association with APTI, Teachers, Pharmacy Teachers Institute Association. So they have a good legacy. I'm sure they'll deliver. And I take this opportunity to
Thank you, sir. Hearing you was a pleasure once again. Micro-learning seems to be the essence now. As the saying goes, all good things come to an end. We have now come to the close of this formal session. I request Mr. Rudramurthy M., Director, Shiksha X, to walk up to the lectern to deliver the vote of thanks.
ನಾವು ಈಗ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಕೊನೆ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸೊಗಡು ಓಕೆ ನನ್ನ ವಂದನಾರ್ಪಣೆಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತು. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಕೊನೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಖುಷಿ, ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಾವಿವತ್ತು ವರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಝೆನ್ಝಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಸರಿನಾ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಮೊದಲು ಗುರುಕುಲ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಗುರುಕುಲ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಗುರುಕುಲಗಳು ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 82ರಿಂದ 85 ಗುರುಕುಲಗಳು ಥ್ರೂಔಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಅದನ್ನು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ವೇದಗಳು ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದರ ದಿಶೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಡಿಜಿಟಲೈಸ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಗುರುಕುಲದ ಮಾದರಿನ ಅಥವಾ ಗುರುಕುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಬುಕ್ಸು ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂಥ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜು ಅದು ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ಡಿಟೋರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗಳು ಬಂತು, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷರು ಬಂದರು, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜನ್ನ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ತೊಗೊಂಡೋದ್ರು. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬಂದು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟು ಈಗ ಏನಿದೆ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜನ್ನ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳೋದು ಕೂಡ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಅವರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ದಟ್ ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚಿಂಗ್ ದ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ, ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ದ ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡೇಟಾನ ನಾವು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ನ ನಾವು ತರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್, ಬಟ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ MEPL ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಲೈನ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ವಂದನಾರ್ಪಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇನ್ನೋರ್ವ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BT ರುದ್ರೇಶ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೊಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಡ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಓಕೆ ಸುಲ್ಲಿತವಾದ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಸವಿಯನ್ನು ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೆಡಿಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆಡು ಭಾಷೆನ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ತಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವರ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ತೊಳೆದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಆ ಗ್ಲಾಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕೊಳೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ತೊಳೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಜಗತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅವರ ಭಾಷೆ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಂಥರ ತುಂಬ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್, ತುಂಬ ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಗೋ ಥರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಏನು ವಿಷಯ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಮೆರುಗನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ಹೃದಯದ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುನೀರವರು ವಂದನಾರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಇನ್ನೋರ್ವ ಮಾತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಮ್ಮ ಅವರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವಿನ್ನೂ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅವರು 1960ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿಯಿಂದ 70ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದರು. ಆಗ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮೆಥಡನ್ನು ಅವರು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು, ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಜೂನಿಯರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ವೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಮೆಥಡು ಪಾರಂಪರಿಕ ಅಂದರೆ ಗುರು ಪರಂಪರೆಯಿಂದನೇ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಾವು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂತ ಅವರು ಮೆಸೇಜನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ MEPL ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
I was about to say that. Thank you.
ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ MEPLಗೆ ಈ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ನ, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ನ, ಈ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡರಲ್ಲಿ LMS ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮು ಮತ್ತು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಬುಕ್ಸ್, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದೇ ಒಂದು ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮುನೀರ್ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಾವು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಇದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇದು ಆಗತ್ತಾ, ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗೋದು. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎ ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಬಿಗರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, ರಿಫೈನರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆಯಿಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲು, ಡೀಸೆಲ್ಲು, ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸು, ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಶಟಲ್ಸ್, ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಸುಮಾರು 35 ವರ್ಷ. ಈ ಶೋರ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಜನರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್. ಸೊ of course actually we are promoting compressed biogas based on bio waste. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಜನರೇಟ್ ಬಯೋಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಬೈ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ bio waste and generate more energy from waste to energy. Okay, these are all the things also we are implementing as another vertical, business vertical. But coming back to the subject, actually Dr. Munir has really encouraged us to take up this activity as a prime and deliver the best whatever is possible ಫಾರ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಸರ್ ಏನು 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ರೂ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನಮಗೆ 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು, ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಪರ್ಪಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾ, ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ 15 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬೇಕು. 3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಸರ್ ಕಲಿಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಶೋನ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿತಿನ್ 3 minutes, ಓಕೆ, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಲರ್ನ್. ಈ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ, ಬಟ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 3 minutesಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಥಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ and the knowledge in a student, it's a difficult task, but where he has done a lot of research and he has developed those kind of small micro learning, I can say tablets or lessons. It's a very good, probably actually it is another segment. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಕ್ಬಾಲ್ ಅವರು, ಅವರನ್ನು ಅರ್ಧ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಕ್ಬಾಲ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕರಿಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು MEPL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು, ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಆಫರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವೇರ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಸಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್. ನನಗೆ ಅವರು ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ನನಗೊಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಈ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾದರಿಂಗ್ನ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕೊಡಿಸಿದ್ದು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಕ್ಬಾಲ್ ಅವರು. ಓಕೆ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ MEPL ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮಗಳ ಜೊತೆ MEPL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ರಾಜು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಅವರು ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮಗಳ ಜೊತೆನೇ ಕುಳಿತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇವರು ಮೂಲತಃ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗದವರು. ಅವರು ಅಗ್ರಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 40 ವರ್ಷ ಸತತವಾದ ಸೇವೆ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೀ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಎ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯಂತ್ರಧಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ರೈತರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಷಿನರೀಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆ ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ನ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವರು. ಅವರು MEPL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ತಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ರೀಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಷ್ಟು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಗೊಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ತಾವು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ವಂದನೆಗಳು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Thank you, sir. The vote of thanks sprang right from your heart. Okay? Yes, I kindly request. Sir, I kindly request Dr. B.T. Rudresh to offer the felicitation to Mr. Rudramurthy. Thank you, sir. With that gratitude being expressed, I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem. Kindly request you all to please be seated for maybe a couple of minutes. With this, we conclude the formal proceedings of the event. On behalf of Team Shiksha and the MEPL, we thank our distinguished guests and invitees for your participation and for being part of this important academic venture. It is now time for us to invite you for high tea and networking. Thank you for joining us for the launch, and we hope you will enjoy rest of the evening. And with this is Blaze signing off. Thank you. Before we sign off, may I kindly request all the participants to gather for a group photograph to capture this memorable occasion. Kindly walk in front for a group photograph.
ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿ ಸರ್ ನೀವು ವೈಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು
Thank you.